Alright, well, this is going to be my first video, and it's a decent one. Upgrading lithium ion and new inverter charger, also new battery isolation relay. Let me just show you real quick. So I'm going to be getting rid of these 4 batteries that are in parallel because they're 6-volt batteries. I'm going to replace that isolation switch, and I'm going to replace my old Xantrex inverter because it is not a pure sine wave, so it cannot work for the new bad boy lithium ion 240 amp hour battery. All right, that's the what's gonna happen. So I'll just get a couple other clips here as I go, and we'll get to it. So a couple things that I ran into that I didn't anticipate. I did reuse 2 of my battery jumpers to extend my negative to where it's going to be, because it went to the first battery at the very back, and I want to be able to have access to my on-off switch, and so I didn't want to have to flip the battery around just for that, so I'll be hooking that up. I went ahead and screwed front and back to the bulkhead there, and it does want airflow, but this is right behind the tire, the front tire, and I feel like without the 4 batteries in there, a lot of water is going to fly up in there. So I think I'm going to think of something to cover that portion with, just so that there's still going to be airflow that gets in through there, so we're good on airflow. With the new inverter, one thing I wish was different was that it specifically said in the mounting directions, don't mount it to where this is on the bottom, and that orientation, if this turned, that was how my other one was mounted. So they just changed the configuration of it, and it's not so I wanted to have access to the control fail codes, and so I had ended up putting all of the connections in the back, which wasn't hard. I just would have been cool if like all the connections were right here and the LEDs were right here or something, but of course that's just for my setup. So I'm just wrapped up in there. I gotta vacuum that and just have to make my connections in the battery compartment, and we'll see where we're at then. All right, so we're all wrapped up and everything went well. I did get the battery fully charged, and then I let it run for a couple days to get it taken down to, I think I got down to 18% before I got it fully charged back up again. So I've done all of the operations that it would have normally, and everything worked. And so our compartment now, it's all hooked up, and I did have to, it was funny, I was going to use those 2 cables, but I ended up finding this longer cable to use because the bolts that came with it to secure the clamp is, or the fitting end is not, they weren't that long, so actually I wouldn't even have been able to put 2 under there, because you have to put that battery monitor, the battery temperature monitor there. So anyway, I'm very pleased with it. It looks good, it's all clean, and now I feel much more confident about the battery setup. Now that I have this and I'm watching this run, and theoretically this one battery was only replacing those 4 I had, and they should have been the same capacity, but this is so much more. It actually, maybe my batteries were bad and I just didn't realize it, but this has so much more usable amp hours than the 4 batteries I had. So super happy with it. Definitely recommend the Xantrex lithium-ion battery and the Freedom SW 2012.